For gatekeepers 90, 91, 99, 105, and 112 of my randomized run, we reached the floor 90 gatekeeper, which actually gave us some trouble at first.
Hello there.
But luckily we overcome it and push on to the gatekeeper on 91. That's just some fodder and some wheel. With that, we unlock Monad passages to unlock more cards. We use the Yukari healing service and descend the Monad passage. Now, the Monad passage did crash quite a bit, but luckily it actually does work. It just took me re-randomizing it a bit. We fight the funny hand that turned out it did not me laughing.
About cooking, bro.
And now this is turned to an actual fight. We cycle out the energies on the hand, which don't do much damage, but with a lucky dodge from Worst Girl, a snap from Mitsuru, and a crit from Rize, we keep pushing forward. Next, we run into a big hand, some dice, and a scary castle. Luckily, we get a lucky weakness strike, and I was making the mistake of spreading out my damage. Despite it being a bit close, we end out the battle, grab an Arcana card, and finish the passage. For the floor 99 gatekeeper, we bonk some of the enemies with Arrow Rain and Armor Piercer, and finish it off with a Zyodine all-out attack for a quick battle. Reach the floor 105 gatekeeper, freeze the dice, crit the dice, and shoot the dice to end the battle. Moving on to the next gatekeeper on floor 112, we run into Takaya, which goes about as expected.
One hop this time.
Then we find a Scale who just dies.
Bye-bye!
On floor 117, we find our second Monad passage and decide to descend it. We crash, then go back, finding Hierophant with the Minotaur. We casually half-hit Hierophant because why not, and finish the battle off with Armor Piercer. Moving forward, we find a funny table that only basic attacks, and a tower that is weak to strike. We end the battle with a cheeky crit from Best Girl and keep pushing forward. We run into a Rampage drive with 2 fodder enemies and we quickly end the battle, finishing off this Monad passage. With that being done, we finish up this block of Tartarus and finally leave my least favorite block. For gatekeepers 125, 126, 132, 136, and 143 of my randomized run. Continuing on, we reach the next block of Tartarus, aka my favorite one to traverse, reaching the floor 125 gatekeeper. We throw some funny arrows and some ice at it and a Magarula into myriad arrows to end the battle. We keep moving through the double battle and fight a silly hand that dies in one shot, ending the series battle. Moving on, we find a greedy shadow that crashes the game, try it again, and bonk the dice. We reach the floor 132 gatekeeper, which is just another silly hand that almost bonks us with a reflect, and so we retaliate with some disproportionate retribution. Reach the floor 136 gatekeeper, pop Arrow Rain, heal them because of Worst Girl, and then hit a weakness with Best Girl. We use this rush command and just win the battle. Reach the floor 143 gatekeeper, he crashes, turns to a wheel, I crit him, and that's all she wrote. We get to our third Monad passage, start the first battle with enemies that don't actually take much damage with Arrow Rain. Mitsuru currently is out of SP, and Fukas does not feel like replenishing it, so we pop Orgia mode, let Best Girl pop off, and end the battle. We run into another funny hand and a samurai, and start whittling down the hand with Armor Piercers. We finish the battle after some casualties, and keep moving forward. For the final boss of the Monad passage, we run to another Vestige of the Past, who we easily dispatch.
Like you could, G.
With that being done, we finish the Monad passage, reach the border floor, and finally catch up on Tartarus after being behind, climbing 70 Tartarus floors in one day. For the upcoming 10-4 full moon in my randomized run, we have quite a lot of time to kill to get to the next full moon, so to not bore you with the details, Best Girl at school, second best girl is in the hospital, bestest girl Elizabeth likes escalators, and we rack in some cash. We feed some levels to our persona stats as usual. We do some linked episodes to do even more social links, get some characteristics, and try to get through this stretch of days as fast as possible. We clean up the non-existent culture festival, do some slapstick comedy to indulge the MILF Hunter, and continue through our days. After speedrunning September, we reached 10-4, aka the day everyone decided to universally hate on a kid for something that, in retrospect, is definitely not his fault. Unfortunately, due to the mechanics and scripts of this fight, it cannot be randomized.
You're mad! I'm back!
So we proceed through it like normal. Strength hides Fortune, we have PTSD from 428, and Fortune plays Spin the Wheel. We easily dispatch Strength after spamming Zyodine, Fortune makes a funny prediction, and we end the fight on the funny number.
Nice.
We cut over to Shinji and Ken having a friendly disagreement, then No Shirt says there's not enough death happening here, and decides to do something about it. Shinji finds out he's weak to gun twice, Ken forgets that he knows healing magic, and we end the night with the unfortunate loss of an actually decent party member. Fun fact, if this were P3P, we could have saved him. However, Atlas has decided that as a teammate, Shinji is replaceable, and we continue on. For the upcoming floor 151 gatekeeper of my randomized run, we have Shinji's funeral, Akihiko's second waking, and then we talk about Akihiko and Mitsuru, and how they are bots for not realizing what day it is.
You stupid!
And then we push on. Since we passed another full moon, it is time to once again succumb to our gambling addiction, this time getting King Frost with the skill No Rage. A bit of a letdown, but considering our current loadout, we dismiss it, become a wage slave, and continue on. More plot happens, Ken has a second awakening, and we are greeted by Ryoji once more. We do some more stat raises, hang out with Worst Boy, and have some
delicious pancakes.
We get more gifts from Mitsuru for being a great student and hang out with Berlin. He gets his second awakening after Natsuki decides to pull a Shiho minus the roof. And we keep leveling Persona stats because social links, the central theme of Persona, are cringe. We hug Worst Girl out of pity, brush Koromaru, then head into Tartarus. We rescue Maiko, climb some more floors, use the Great Clock, then die. We rush back in after paying the price for our ever-increasing hubris, run to Takaya the Crasher, and reload. We get our salty run back and abuse our levels to take down the floor 151 Gatekeeper, which results in Junpei getting the level 60, and Best Girl gets the funny number.
As they say.
For the floor 151, 161, 170, and 171 Gatekeepers of my randomized run, I run into a dark floor and have a theory I wanted to test. Considering all enemies are randomized, it stands to reason that the Reaper is randomized too. However, this brings up a question that I didn't consider before. For anyone that's beaten the Reaper before, you know there's a guaranteed shuffle time after the battle. My question was, are the shuffle time items tied to the enemy or the encounter? Berlizzi says the funny line, we crit the rando and finish it out with an all-out attack, which results in... And we have defeated the Reaper, everybody. Wait. After testing my theory a second time and looking at the wiki, it was exactly what I thought it was. However, we saved some more bots in Tartarus, reaching the floor 161 Gatekeeper. We do some more monading, then continue climbing. After rescuing the final person, we decide to keep monading because tarot cards and because free Tartarus search. We reach the floor 170 Gatekeeper, he gets crit farmed, Best Girl hits a weakness, and I crit because it's funny. Continuing the double battle on floor 171's Gatekeeper, we pop Fucus Theurgy for no real reason, then we one-shot him. We start descending the fourth monad passage, one-shot the very first enemy, grab a tarot card, then keep it pushing. We shoot the lion, pop some buffs and debuffs, shoot the lion again, and get crit for absolutely no reason. We get our sweet revenge, and then go on to the final boss of the passage, which is a funny lantern man and the funny table, both of which unsatisfyingly get one shot. I decided to farm monad passages because getting to get more than one thing from shuffle time is busted. We pick up the star turret, which does exactly that, and grab our last two turrets needed for Arcana Burst, which now means it's time to enact my master plan. For my upcoming master plan and the 11-3 full moon of my randomized run. If you remember, just a few minutes ago we discovered that shuffle times are tied to the encounter and not the enemies, making the Reaper basically a walking talkie free-base vending machine. With this in mind, I decided to do what any rational player would do and use my free will to invoke degenerate tactics. So now, let me introduce all of you to what I can only dub as Reaper's Gambit. Our main target is Pierce Amp for Weiss Rider, Elect Amp for Michigugi, and Concentrate, which we get quickly. We jump out of Tartarus and I forget it's full moon time. I try repeatedly to see if it can be randomized, which the game just disagrees, so this is another case of having to go through the normal encounter. We fight Jin and Takaya, they pull a funny move, and Jin proves why he too is a useless party member, because instead of using lightning on the robot, he focuses on me. We destroy them both with minimal effort and continue on to the boss. We try to randomize it once more to no avail, so this is just another normal encounter. We kill the statues, hit the boss for 12,948 damage, and get blue-balled because this is a scripted fight and there is no fun allowed.
Yeah, I did it.
We do more damage, kill the funny looking statue, and finally take down the last full moon boss with minimal casualties. Following the events of 11-3 of my randomized run, Ryoji greets us outside the dark hour before dying, we have a nice dinner with the gang, take a group photo, and remark that Ikutsuki and Aigis are taking suspiciously long to get here. We hear the Bell of Awakening, go confront Ikutsuki, and Aigis hits us with the Fade to Black Crucifixion combo, which in hindsight actually makes sense here considering she's much higher than everyone else on the team. We see fake memories from Aigis, see the unedited version of Worst Girl's dad dying in 4K, and regress into our crippling gambling addiction, this time granting us Nidhogger with the skill Light Amp, which is absolutely useless considering we now have a way to farm amps. We force feed Aigis some incense despite her not being in the party right now, and gets jump scared by Igor in our sleep. Junpei rolls a 0 on his charm check, and we do some more social linking because boredom. We finally duplicate the fruits of our degeneracy, giving Michigugi the missing piece. Unfortunately, this will never replace our son, which has been lost to time. We help Junpei get his charm up by buying the flowers for him and telling him that, as a girlfriend, Chidori is not replaceable and he needs to go do something about it. For the floor 179, 184, 188, and 193 gatekeepers of my randomized run. We get introduced to someone who looks suspiciously like that child we just kicked out of our head, get forced to listen to Rush E, and go into Tartarus once more. Despite being down a party member, we decide to throw Katone's jailbait in the mix and start Reaper's Gambit, Electric Boogaloo. This time our targets were the big three: Auto Matarukuja, Auto Mararakukuja, and Auto Masakukuja. If you're wondering why the Reaper's randomized enemy is different, it's just because I was on new Rize instead of old Rize, and considering they both die in 1 to 2 shots, I decided not to waste time switching on the files and kept it moving. I decided to grab the star and just the turrets because money, and then we continue on. We spend, I kid you not, 4 hours committing to Reaper's Gambit and decide to take a break till the next day, deciding to continue for an additional hour, then continue with Tartarus. I would like to state for the record, we did not get Auto Masakukuja, despite my investments. We reached the floor 179 gatekeeper, shoot the burb, and push forward. The next gatekeeper is on floor 184, which had Hanged Man and a random swift axle. We decided to theurgy jump to get through the fight quickly. I shoot him with the funny armor piercer, which hits him for 9,685 damage, and we continue forward. For the floor 188 gatekeeper, we run into a funny hand and statue. The turrets immune our arrow range, so we obliterate it from existence. Following that, we reach the floor 193 gatekeeper, which is literally the first enemy of the game.
Help me! Help me!
And we move on. We reach the border floor, go save, and go into our 5th monad passage. I quickly realized that the first encounter is a 5 enemy battle, which every Persona randomizer hates, so we spam Megidolan because resistances, and we continue forward. Next up is a funny samurai, torch mage, and twins who got armor pierced and suffocated to death. I debate attempting Reaper's Gambit for the last time, grabbed a dark amp, and left Tartarus. For the upcoming 1122 section of my randomized run, after leaving Tartarus, we cash out on our monetary gains, duplicate insta-heal, and hung out with second best boy. We use our night slot on our linked episode with Kin, and continue forward. We do some more social linking to pass the time, Faros has a linked episode, and we do some more duplicating. We reach the Kyoto trip, Igus does the funny line, man, and we move on to the next day. During the trip, Worst Girl uses her signature move, we hang out with Faros, and then we get ready to commit what I can only describe as a premeditated crime. We evade the girls in a scene that becomes very silly due to using the FEMC mod, return back and hang out with those who left behind. We get woken up during the dark hour, get our transmission hijacked, and meet up with Chidori, who is having an existential crisis on the grounds that she finds Junpei hot. Truly, something that would drive the sanest people mad. Chidori becomes an invincible hand that only knows buffs and debuffs, and I soon realized that this fight is also impossible to be randomized. After realizing I'm soft locked, we armor pierce Chidori, let her go through her breakdown monologue, and end the fight. Takaya sees that not enough death is happening, and once more decides to do something about it. Junpei gets shot, Chidori says no you, says the words every man wants to hear from the one they love, I love you, then dies. Junpei gets angry, does 20 damage to Jin because his magic stat is garbage, and then they smoke bomb to get away. After the events of 1122, we go to the antique shop, spend our earnings on stat increases for the team, and continue on. For the upcoming 12-2 full moon and gatekeepers 203, 212, 218, and 225 of my randomized run, we quickly speedrun career experience week, do some social linking, and do some Fuka gaming. We meet up with Faros for the last time, he plays Megalovania, and then disappears. I decide to go into the stars before the next full moon, open some chests, activate a great clock, and save some people trapped in there. After saving them, I decide to leave so I can progress the plot. We see into Igus's and Ryoji's past, realize we are a victim of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ryoji one-shots Igus, we find her, and then Ryoji exposition dumps on us, basically stating that we are going to die no matter what, and we have the choice of either killing him on New Year's and forgetting, or living in fear every day until we're cooked. He says, good luck coming to a decision, leaves, and instead of giving it to despair, I resort to the one thing that has been by my side since the beginning. Gambling! We get Addis with the skill Maximum Firepower, which as you know is Igus's second theurgy. Unfortunately, as stated before, we cannot use theurgies on personas unfortunately, and considering we're at a point in the game where Igus is gonna come back with her second theurgy, this was effectively useless to us. We continue on through the days, Junpei yells at us, we go to the arcade, and we burn through the days awaiting the inevitable climb in Tartarus. We reach New Year's Eve, spend it with Fuka, Igus rejoins the team, then we headed back into Tartarus real quick, we quickly climb the floors, dispatching the floor 203 gatekeeper, and run into a funny glitch. Oh. Well, fellas, it's been nice seeing you guys. I'll take my business elsewhere. We crash back to back before finally being able to get in battle. We run into the Nyx Hermit Battle 2.0, but luckily not nearly as annoying. We slip up twice, have to do the battle again, and clear it. We clear gatekeepers 218 and 225, reaching the final border floor, and we have 2 more monad passages to get through. We fight through the first set of enemies, get jump scared by Megidolan.
Let's do this.
and then jump scared again by the funny Abaddon,
Hello there.
who crashes. I realize it's a 5-person battle, and so we can't randomize it. We clear the mount and complete the second to last monad passage.